There's more weight in bacteria in this world than there is everything else put together. Bacteria rule this planet. We don't. There are a whole host of microorganisms that we cannot even see living in soil, doing their job, helping us grow crops, and basically keeping us healthy.
On the gene level in our bodies, we have 100 times more genes from the microbes that live in our body than human genes. You are what you eat, right? So we ingest microbes when we ingest our food. So some of these microbes that are in the soil eventually make it to our system too. We each have our own microbiome. So you are 99% microbe, 1% human.
Most organisms that are inhabiting us or inhabiting the environment are good ones. They're running the world, they're running our health. So we need to begin to change the perception away from, bacteria are bad, to understanding that we have partnerships with them, whether it's in us or it's in the larger environment.
We're going to be suffering more and more with iliac disease, colitis, Crohn's disease. I suspect that all of these are the result of your internal biome being unbalanced.
This imbalance, scientists that work in the gut microbiome world call it dysbiosis. Microorganisms are not in harmony the way they're supposed to be with the host. There are many hypotheses of why we have this imbalance or this dysbiosis. One of them is overuse of antibiotics, because antibiotics kill microorganisms. We're missing microbes that are healthy, good microbes that we've been depleting from our system.
We're beginning to understand the diversity of organisms that inhabit us, so that's coming along pretty well. What we don't understand very well is how they are interacting among themselves, what the different groups are doing, how they work together, and even more so, how they interact with the human. We need to partner with microorganisms. They aren't bad, they're mostly all good, and we need to partner with the good ones, and we need to help them help us.
So what we do is the microorganisms are growing here, and through these connections, they make it all the way to the keg. We collect it in the keg, and then we send them to clean up contaminated environments.
We're adding organisms that have specialized functions to make sure they're there and are active to do what we want them to do. In humans, we would call that a probiotic.
Exactly.
But in a field, we call it bioaugmentations. It's the same concept, though.
Right now, microbially, the soil's a black box to us. And we're just now beginning to open it up and try to figure out what it is. In 1 cubic centimeter of soil, there are over 6 million cells. We have been lowering our organic matter levels in the soil slowly and steadily through the commercial agriculture.
Oftentimes we negate thinking about these things in modern agriculture because we use soil as a base, basically to input synthetic fertilizer.
Farmers that use synthetic chemicals will put in fumigants. And the fumigants come through and they will kill everything. So, we refer to it as nuking the soil, kind of almost making a sterile soil. And then you're trying to grow something in that soil that doesn't really have any life in it.
Over time, what we're doing is we're creating toxicity by way of putting too much of these synthetic inputs in the soil and killing off the beneficial bacteria and the living element.
I think that, quite frankly, we've done all that we can with fertilizer. Now we have to take the soil and the microbial components of the soil and learn how to use them in our favor. If we can increase the soil microbial community diversity, we can increase how healthy our soil is. And with healthy soil comes healthy crops.
All right, so I'm going to be spreading some bokashi today, and pretty much what our bokashi is a wheat bran inoculated with some EM.
EM, it stands for effective microorganisms. It's a mixture of beneficial microbes. We're throwing a bunch of probiotics into the soil to reestablish life.
So it's creating, just a healthy ecosystem in there, with bacteria, insects, roots, plants. Instead of directly feeding the plants, we're feeding the soil.
Well, if you change microbes in soil, you can have healthier crops without using chemicals. That's how I see it. That would have a downstream effect on the microbiome.
Anything that we can do to reduce that dependence on chemicals and increase our dependence on the natural systems that'll work for us if we let them, or if we can figure out how to do it, that's a benefit to everybody. We save money, we get better crops, we have a better environment. And it fits into our biome and keeps us healthy and happy too. It's a win-win all the way around as far as I can see.